in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Knickin' It weekly show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen. This is the show where Knick fans get together and talk about our New York Knicks and the storyline surrounding them. Over the past week, we are, 2 weeks? 3 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks before the first preseason game, October 6th. In the next few weeks, we're basically just breaking down the Knicks roster versus the rest of the Eastern Conference. Last week, it was Indiana and Orlando. This week is Miami and Cleveland. We'll talk a little bit about Randle. I don't know. All the trade talk with Randle has been deemed clickbait, but it's been going on for months now. So I'm wondering if there's a little fire where the smoke is. So we'll talk about that as well. It doesn't look like Mitchell Robinson will be ready for the first game, or at least for training camp. At least that doesn't seem to be the case. Anything is possible. And every time you turn around, there's another center option for the Knicks to take a look at. I guess there's some urgency because he may not be ready. But some of these options, I'm like, yeah, I mean, come on, are they any better? So we'll take a listen at that as well. But let's get Jerrell is back. Geoff. And Ajay will make his appearance, I guess, later on. How you guys doing?
Yeah, salute. Happy to be back.
Doing great. Glad to have Jerrell back on the show and ready to get it going, man.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we're gonna go down the rosters today.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about Miami. We'll talk about Cleveland. But Jerrell, it's been a minute. I just want to get your take on the Knicks roster. The Knicks, I feel like we ain't talked to you since did we speak to you since we got Mikal Bridges?
The last time I was on the show, I think we had it was after the draft, obviously. I think it was right before we lost iHeart.
Oh,
so
wow.
we had Mikal Bridges already. And I just remember talking about Tyler Kolek, how good he will be, because it wasn't Summer League yet, I don't think.
Right.
But yeah, like I was saying before, like he's pretty good. You know, he's not a world beater or anything, but I think he fits with the roster. But yeah, the only thing I think that's happened really, roster wise, is that we lost iHeart since I've been on the show.
Okay.
So yeah, that hurt.
It did. What's your thoughts on this Knicks team right now, the roster as is presently constructed? What do you like, and do you have any concerns?
I definitely like how the roster is constructed. The only thing I really don't like is the backup center position. How I feel. Well, at least you two know how I feel about Sims. I don't think he's the best basketball player in the world. So I wish we could have upgraded that position. Mitch. I just hope Mitchell Robinson stays healthy. Like if he stays healthy, I think we'll be fine. But I mean, he usually doesn't. So I don't think the problem is Mitch anymore, because we used to have a problem with his offense. Like we have enough offense now that I don't think that will really hinder the team anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Mitchell Robinson definitely fits with the starting roster now. He doesn't need the ball in his hand. So backup center though, so like say if he does go down and we have to rely on Sims and like Precious, like I think we might have trouble, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah. I agree with that. We'll get into just some articles I've been reading about potential. Like there's more they're adding to, potential. Yeah, and some of them is like, yeah, come on
Right, exactly.
now. But anyway, let's get right into it. I try not to do slides on this show because I wanted to have, oops, sorry about that. I wanted to have more of a barbershop, hair salon type
Okay.
feel where we just sitting around kicking it. But it's really hard to talk about the rosters, comparing the Knicks rosters to other team rosters if you don't see the roster. So, but I do want to just pull up. This is, oh, wait a minute. There you go. This is where I think the Eastern, and we went through this last week, how I think the Eastern Conference is going to end up. And so we're kind of going through two teams at a time, starting from the bottom. I know, Jerrell, you weren't here last week. Um, do you see anybody lower or higher than I have in the Eastern Conference?
Look, like that'll be a threat to us.
No, 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 no.
We-
Just in terms of finish. Anybody I have higher think will
okay.
finish lower. Anyone I have lower that you think will finish higher.
Let me look. Yeah, I think the Pacers might be better than Miami. I'm not really sold on Miami. I know we're going to talk about their roster later,
Mhm.
but I actually think Indiana could be better than Miami and Cleveland.
Oh, okay. So
Everything that,
they can finish like fifth.
yeah, I actually think they're the fifth best team in the East right now. I have them above those two teams, especially the way they played last year in the playoffs. But yeah, I like Indiana this year. Orlando is still young. They could move up possibly. I wouldn't be shocked, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they just still be the Orlando Magic and not make the playoffs too. So,
You said not.
like, so I wouldn't be shocked whether they can actually leapfrog all the way to 5, or they can slip all the way down to 11, like the Orlando Magic. So I don't really know exactly what they're going to do, especially because they're young and their best player is young too. So I don't really know about them, but I really like the Pacers. That'll probably be my only leapfrog.
Do you think with Orlando, how much of a difference, if any, do you think KCP is going to make?
With championship experience, so he would definitely make a jump for them. I still don't really know the rest of their roster though, like what their bench look like. Because like you said, I don't have the roster right in front of me.
I
But
do. I can get it for you. There it is.
Okay, hold on, let me see. So yeah, see, I like that starting 5. They're just still young.
Right.
I don't know. Their bench has little to be desired. They still got young people like Cole Anthony coming off the bench too. But Gary Harris and Anthony Black are both, good vets on the wing. I don't really have. I don't really know what to say about Jonathan Isaac yet because he has to stay healthy.
Right.
And the other Wagner brother, he's obviously tough. So I think our roster is better than theirs. They're just young. I think maybe in a couple years they could be dangerous though. But to answer your question, KCP is a big upgrade for them just because of the championship experience.
Okay. And then we'll let you comment on this on Indiana, and then we'll move on to the two teams we're going to talk about today. This is Indiana's roster, and I know you said you're high on them.
Very high. They look very dangerous, even on paper. Like, look at their bench with TJ McConnell. Ben Shepherd obviously is a sharpshooter. We didn't see Benedict Mathurin. I know we talk about our injuries all the time, but Mathurin, it was a huge hole for them come playoff time. Like, he can average, more than 15 if he actually got the minutes. And Obi's obviously a player. Isaiah Jackson is a player. James Wiseman, he's still young, even though he hasn't lived up to his potential. But I really do like their roster.
Yeah. I'm not as high on Indiana. I don't know why. But
you don't know why? Is it because of the youth? Is it because of the toughness?
I think it's. I think if it wasn't for the injuries to Milwaukee and the the Knicks. I don't know if Indiana gets out the first round. I think offensively they're a very good team. Defensively, I don't think they are. And I think if you have a healthy team that plays good defense, I think they're going to be an easy out. Um, I think the players I'm super high on that team is Halliburton, Siakam, and TJ McConnell. I like those three guys. I'm really high on, but I, I'm not arguing with anybody who have them finishing even fourth. I mean, they do have a talented roster. They're all coming back. I think they're banking on internal growth, right? I don't think they've signed anybody other than Wiseman, who seems like he'll be situational. I don't know. I just don't have a good. I don't know.
Well, I just want to preface that even though I'm high on their roster and I think they can finish fourth or fifth, I still don't think they could touch us though.
Right.
That's how high I have us as a roster.
Right.
Like for the most part, like the two teams that we're going to talk about today, I don't think they could touch us either. We're going to go through them.
Right.
I don't think they could touch.
We don't
us.
do the exercise.
Yeah, we could do the exercise, but yeah, I think we smacking them around too in a 7-game series. I think all of the teams that you've talked about so far, because you haven't done like Milwaukee or Boston.
No. Yeah, next week we're gonna do Milwaukee and Philly.
Okay.
And then the week after that, it's just gonna be Boston by themselves.
Because are they the first game again?
They're the first game,
Right,
October
right.
22nd.
Right. So that makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, I like the pace. I definitely don't like them as much as I like us though.
Right. But it's fair that they would finish. I think, and I said this last week, like Miami got like a legacy position at 6.
Right. I say a lot of people have Miami high just because we're too scared to count them out. Because they always have a veteran team. They always have good coaching, so you can't really count them out ever until like they're dead.
Right.
They have to not make the playoffs in order for you to be like, yeah, Miami is not a threat for anything.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, let's move into Miami, who I have finishing 6 in the Eastern Conference. So this is their starting spot. Now, this depth chart is as per ESPN. There's a few websites that have depth charts, but I got it from ESPN. So Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero as the guards, Butler and Jovic as the forwards. I don't know how they have Jovic beating out Jaime Jaquez, but okay. And Bam as the center, and coming off the bench, Alec Burks. That's a pretty good bench, Alec Burks, George Richardson, Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez, is it?
Jaquez.
Yeah. Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kevin Love with Thomas Bryant, the center, and Highsmith as situational players. Before we just talk about how the Knicks match up with them, what's your overall thoughts on their roster? We'll start with you, Jerrell, and then we'll go to Geoff.
Very veteran team, like I said before, especially they added Terry Rozier. They traded for him last year. I actually forgot that they got Alec Burks. I think that's a huge gift for them. And I like, even though they have a veteran team, I actually like their young players too. I was really high on Jovic coming out of the draft and Jaquez. I like both of them. Two good young forwards. And they actually have the kid from Indiana that they drafted this year that's not even up on the roster.
That's right. I forgot to put him there. Is it Khalil? Khalil Ware?
Yeah, Khalil Ware. I was really high on him. I was hoping that the Knicks actually drafted him to be a backup 5 or a 5 in waiting at least. But Miami's going to be Miami, and they drafted him. So, but yeah, if he becomes a player, he can be a good addition for them, especially late in the season. But yeah, I really do like their roster, but it's just that they're old, and I don't think in the regular season they're going to win a lot of games.
Wow. And Jimmy Butler, who sits out a lot of games in the regular season, this is a contract year, so he might, he might lace him up more than usual.
But knowing Jimmy, you got to think about how Jimmy is. He might sit out some games just to show them, yeah, you should pay me.
Right.
Yeah.
Depending on how many wins they have or how many losses they have in his absence.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy is the type of person or the type of player that he think he's the man, he's the alpha in the room. So I can see him, oh, I got a hangnail tonight, I'm not going.
Right.
Like I could definitely see that. But overall, I really do like their roster. I just don't think, I don't know, the sense of urgency for them is going to be playoff time, not the regular season.
Right. Right. Ajay, if you want to make your grand entrance now before we get to Geoff, you can.
Ajay.
Nice of you to join us there, my friend.
I don't want to just like come in, like bust through the door. I wait for you to let me in,
Come through like Kool-Aid, man. Just bust through the door.
That's what I was thinking too, Jerrell. He's the Kool-Aid
Right,
man.
like Kool-Aid man. Like bust through the door. Yo, what's up, y'all, man? Listen, Jerrell, Queen, how'd you get Jerrell back on? Like, I'm like,
yeah. Listen, I had to get on the show. I had to be like, come on, Jerrell. Now.
She hit me with like, I was like, are you okay? You all right?
Yeah,
We was worried about you. We didn't see you all summer, man.
I know, man. We had to put an APB out on Jerrell, man.
Matter of fact, now that Ajay is here, I want to personally thank both of you for holding it down all summers in my absence for Steph. Like, you guys did great.
Yes, they did.
Thank you. Listen, salute to you guys. I'm late. I literally just walked in. And I'm like, I gotta jump on. I didn't even know Jerrell was here. I found out Jerrell was here when I just now. I checked in. I was like, oh, hey, Jerrell's here. He's really here. All right.
Yeah, we had to go to like a different layout with just a people layout the past few weeks.
Listen, man. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the chat. Listen, man. Listen, that 21 like nonsense is not gonna work, man. Y'all better hit the like button. Man. Get this thing popping, man.
See, in my absence, nothing ever changed, Steph. Nothing changed.
Like what is it? 21 like really? Come on, man. It's the off season, man. We keeping this thing going. Like, come on, man. Just show us some love, man. Show us some love. Right.
And not Kevin Love neither.
And not Kevin, man. F Kevin Love, man.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So is on Geoff, and we're talking about, we're comparing the Knicks and Miami, Ajay, and right now we're just going through your general thoughts on their roster before we delve deeper into it. So we'll let Geoff go, and then you can go next.
Definitely.
Well, first of all, I just want to remind everyone that between second place and like ninth place was like only a couple of games last year in the Eastern Conference. So don't be surprised if it's kind of that way again. I think that the top 8 or so teams are so good that you're gonna see a lot more teams bunched in the 45 to 55 win range, somewhere in between, as opposed to like having 2 60-win teams. I don't know if anybody gets to 60 in the East this year. I just think it's that tough. I didn't think much of Miami, and then I'm looking at the roster, and then you add Khalil Ware in there, and I'm like, they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of good players on that. There's good basketball players and Miami Heat brand basketball players too. They have their kind of guys. I mean, I feel like Josh Richardson is there every other year. I don't know. But they just have a lot of depth. They have a lot of guys with high basketball IQ, and Spoelstra's still a great coach. So overall, I just think Miami is always dangerous, and it's kind of like when Tom Brady played for the New England Patriots. You don't count them dead until they're dead. You got to make sure that once they've lost in the playoffs, then you can throw the dirt on their grave. But till then, you got to consider him a threat.
And I think that's why, shout out to the chat, by the way. A-Train's been a long time. Appreciate you. Quiet Money. JJ, always rocking with us. Jerrell is in the building. Now let me stop. Darlene Bryant, Walter White, and those that are watching that are not in the chat, and of course the replay gang. But I think, Geoff, that's why I gave them that 6th spot. Is you got a Spoelstra. It's the same mold as Thibodeau. You give them a little bit of talent, they're gonna figure out how to squeeze the most that they can out of that roster. And I think that's why I gave them the 6th spot. You know, they may not be, arguably, they may not be as talented as Indiana. Some will say they are, but when you throw in their culture, you throw in Spoelstra, you throw in how grisly Jimmy Butler is, and Bam and Hero, who's been playing with them for years. I just feel like they become a team that's better than the roster, better than the individual parts. Terry Rozier didn't play a lot last year. I don't know how much he's an offensive. He can play a little. We'll see. But if they get it going, there's some talent on that team, and there's some toughness on that team. So I think the Knicks is better. Like, we're like the sister brother team, we're in the same mold as terms of culture and defensive minded and things of that sort. So it's going to be really interesting. What's your thought? Oh, Ajay, did you?
No, so
Give your
yeah,
thought
I
on
want to say a little something real quick, Queen. I would just want to follow up on your thought here, because I remember last week, I kind of shooed Miami and waved them off, and of course I go back, listen to the show, and I'm looking at their roster. Yeah, they're not going to be that bad. They're not going to be as bad as I thought. Because I say in years past, Miami, they always gotta. They're like half their roster is usually guys you just don't know. Like, you don't know who those guys are. Guys who be hanging out in South Beach that they pick up from the bar the next day, and stuff like that. So, but you're looking at it, they do have they have a pretty good roster. They have pretty good talent. I mean, when you look at guys like Alec Burks and Josh Richardson, Duncan Robinson coming off the bench, and Jaime Jaquez, you listen, Kevin Love, that bench to me is comparable to the Knicks bench. When these guys play the Knicks, it's going to be an all-out war. Between all the lineup, between starting lineup and the bench. I mean, it's going to be. I expect every game with the Knicks with these guys to go down to the wire.
Yeah.
So, but against teams like Indiana and Orlando, these guys, they're going to be feasting. So yeah, I from what I said the last show when I kind of waved them off, like, you know what, I want to correct them, because that's going to be a good team. Especially when you look at the deep bench, they have a really deep bench. I think they're going to make a little bit more noise than I thought they would make. I don't know why that guy Nikolai Jovic is in the starting lineup. I would have found something.
Yeah, that's what I got the depth chart from ESPN, but I would think Jaime Jaquez would
be. Yeah, I think he's more like a bench player. I know it probably has to do with size. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
But talent-wise, I think Jaime Jaquez should probably be in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
In terms of talent, instead of that guy Nikola Jovic.
Yeah, and I know in the chat, Sherwin and someone else in the chat said by the end of the season they expect Khalil Ware to be in the starting lineup, and maybe Bam move to the 4. So we shall see. Which roster do you think has the edge offensively? We'll talk about the defense next, but which roster between the Knicks now and Miami do you think has the edge on the offensive end?
I think on offense, I think the Knicks have the edge. Like, it's not even. I don't even have to think about it. I think we have better offensive players than they do. I mean, they do have guys like Tyler Hero and. Listen, you got to remember Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is like about 80 years old now. I don't expect them to be, like he's gonna miss some games, and the games that he play, he's just not gonna be the Jimmy Butler of old. You know what I'm saying? So we have younger, talented guys that are who are just better. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to grinding down, and like these guys could grind just like the Knicks can, and these guys are like old school. They have experience. Like guy like Alec Burks, you know what I'm saying? These guys coming off the bench, like overall with the game, I think they're pretty much the Knicks equal. But because of their grind, because of their mentality, their toughness, just like but you know, that's why every game is going to go down to the wire. But in terms of talent and youth and athleticism, I think we're better. Like it's not even close, in my opinion.
Wow. All right. We're just talking offense now.
Yeah,
Geoff,
we're just talking offense.
Yeah. Your thoughts on offensively, and then we get to Jerrell, and then we'll end up the segment going to the chat and seeing what they have to say.
Yeah, they're very talented offensively. I like. I mean, Rozier can score, is capable. Hero can light it up for sure. Butler is Butler. I don't know a whole lot about Jovic. I know a lot of people are really high on him. Adebayo's a really good player. Alec Burks is a microwave guy. You know, Duncan Robinson can fill it up from long range. You know, Kevin Love have a lot of wear left on the tires, but he's still, you know, a good player, and I trust the opinion of guys like Jerrell and JJ and some of the others in the chat about Ware. And if that's true that they think Ware can start, and that's kind of Miami Heat, they always find these guys who they can plug in who do a great job as youngsters. I mean, Jaquez Jr. did that last year. You know, they're real deep at the 5 spot. I mean, Thomas Bryant is not a terrible player, and he's situational. You know, I think that
minutes too.
Yeah, so they've got a lot of depth at the 5 spot, whereas, you know, we don't necessarily. So you know, they have a lot of guys who can put the ball in the basket, and they have a talented roster.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Jerrell, your thoughts on them offensively?
The question is, are they better than us?
No.
Just
well, which roster has the edge? Yeah, which roster between the Knicks and Miami has the edge offensively, and why?
We have the edge because of Julius Randle. Like a healthy Julius Randle, I don't think anybody on their roster that could check Julius Randle. I don't think anybody that could check Jalen Brunson either, but Julius Randle is the X factor for me when it comes to the offensive end. Bam Adebayo usually does a good job on Julius Randle, but a good job means, you know, Ajay would say he'd just hurt him.
That's right.
So, especially in the playoffs. So I don't see anybody on this roster checking Julius Randle at all. And I don't see anybody that could stay in front of Jalen Brunson. So I think we have the 2 best offensive players on the, you know, between the 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to remember that Mikal Bridges was the number 1 option for Brooklyn for a couple years. So he kind of cut his teeth when it came to that. Like he will be a better offensive player because of that, because he didn't have those responsibilities with the Suns.
Right.
And he will, you know, his shot selection will be a lot better with us because he goes from like the first option to like the 3rd or sometimes the 4th, depending on who's on the floor. So
right.
Yeah, I think we definitely have the edge. Not saying that Miami it wouldn't be good offensively, but I think we have the edge because of that.
Yeah, and even though we're gonna do the defense separate, talk about the defense separate, it's hard to talk about Miami's offense without thinking about the fact that we have players that can defend them.
Right.
Right. So when I, you know, in isolation, I like Terry Rozier on the you know, on the offensive end, and he's clutch too. I think that's something that's going to help Miami. He's not afraid to take the big shot. Same thing with Hero, who's really good on the offensive, and same thing with Bam, who's pretty good on the offensive end, though he disappears at time. And Butler, he just turns into another offensive player when he plays the Knicks. That's in isolation, and like you alluded to, Alec Burks coming off the bench, Josh Richardson. I mean, they have in a vacuum very good offensive players, but then you have to when you factor in the Knicks defensive players, you're like, but are they going to be able to do what they would do in a vacuum, you know,
Right.
against a Mikal Bridges and a OG Anunoby and a Dante DiVincenzo because there's different defensive lineups we can throw out there. So if it's Terry Rozier and Tyler Hero, it's always going to be Mikal and OG on the best wing players, but we can always switch it up. We can come off the bench with a defensive Miles McBride, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Harper. You understand? So it's however good a team is offensively, we got players that'll make them work. And on our offensive end, why I give us the edge is I think Jalen Brunson is it's not even a thing. He's just unstoppable, period.
Mm-hmm.
I've just seen him over the past few years and in the playoffs to know that he's unstoppable. Yeah, can he have a bad night? Yeah, no doubt he can. I think Julius Randle is really good as well offensively, but I've seen Bam give him some trouble. That being said, I think he was on a bum ankle, I believe, when Bam was. So, we have to take that into consideration. But what I really like about our team offensively is that OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges have offense that may not be called on this season as much.
Right.
So they may be called on offensively to play at 60% capacity, of what they can really do offensively. So I definitely like that. And that's why I give us the edge, because if Jalen Brunson has a bad night, Mikal Bridges can turn up from 60% to 90% in terms of what, his offensive ability. And the same thing with OG Anunoby, DiVincenzo, who's a starter coming off the bench. Josh Hart's been working on his shot. I saw something about Miles McBride was working out with his coach, and he should be, that much better. So yeah, I think that the Knicks in a vacuum have better offensive players, but also they have the players that can keep Miami's offensive players in check. Anything else about them offensively before we get to the chat and then start talking about the defense of both teams? No? Okay. All right. What you got for us, Ajay? Ajay's man in the chat. What you got
So
for
it's
us?
in the chat. All right, let's get I thought that was funny. Miami, the flight that never goes the fly that never goes away. And it's true. No matter what players, what unknown players they have, they always in contention.
Mhm.
They always make some noise. They always, they on calendars, on everybody's calendar, they always circle Miami no matter what they have on their lineup. I agree with that. Sherwin, shout out to Sherwin. Khalil Ware will be starting before the season is over. Ben will be moving to the 4. I've heard that more than once. So I guess that Nicola kid would be out of the lineup. Who they taking out of the lineup?
It would have
I
to
don't.
be so, but if he's in there to begin with,
If he's in there
I
to
don't
begin
really
with,
see him as the
I
starter.
think Jaime will be in the starting lineup. So I don't know where they're getting that from. And if Jaime's not in the lineup, he's gonna make the lineup before Khalil Ware, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Not because Khalil Ware is not good. Khalil Ware is good. It's just that Jaime's already part of the system. He already knows the system. He already in there.
Right.
So I think he's gonna make the starting lineup before that guy.
Yeah, I don't see Miami starting a rookie.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with Khalil Ware. I'm just talking about any rookie, period.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you just mentioned, Spo is like another version of Tips. So it's probably the same kind of mentality, not putting a rookie in there.
Right.
He'll get minutes, but I don't think he's going to start unless somebody get injured. All right. So Dwayne Dennis, shout out to Dwayne Dennis, always rocking with us. In all reality, you can't take any team in the East lightly. Games will be competitive within the division /conference. And it's too hard to predict the 2 seed down to the 8 seed. But you know what? I don't know 2 to 8, but definitely 4 from 4 seed on. You just can't. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And the top, even the top 3, it's going to be a battle. Like I don't know. Everybody assuming Boston's going to be a top team. I don't know if Boston's going to be number 1. Listen, they have a good team, but I don't know. I can't. I wouldn't bet on them being the top seed in the East again this year.
Yeah, I see it. I have it as tiers. The top 4 in any particular order: Knicks, Miami, Milwaukee, Philly.
You had to say Knicks first, though, right?
Yeah. I think that to me, those are the 4 best teams in the Eastern Conference.
I agree.
Now,
I agree.
Cleveland, Miami, Orlando, and I'm missing somebody.
Indiana.
They're going to have something to say about that. And I see them finishing 5 through 8 in whatever order. However, those who I think are going to finish top 4, don't slip.
Don't slip.
Don't sleep.
Exactly.
Don't slip.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Next
Yep.
thing you know, you find yourself in 6th place.
Yeah, because one of the second tier teams, one of the 4th to 8 team might just sneak right up on there and be top 4. You know?
Mhm.
So yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the talent, the East is going to be really good. It's going to be fun to watch this year, man. It's going to be really
Very
very
fun.
competitive. I agree with this, Dwayne Dennis. It's going to be very competitive.
Because think about last season. What was the difference between, I don't know, 2 through 8, 3, 4, 5 games, maybe?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And these teams are even better.
Only thing though, I think our roster is a little underrated though, going into the season. Only because we got to the 2nd seed last year without Julius Randle or Mikal Bridges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to mention Mitchell Robinson was hurt most of the year too. So we actually got to that point without them.
Yeah.
So a healthy them, I don't see many teams beating us, especially in the 7-game series. Like, just talk about playoff stuff.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I agree too. I agree. Shout out to MacMon. The Heat are much younger than because I think I mentioned that the Knicks, some of the guys are old. Listen, Jimmy Butler being 80 years old, that brings the average up. That brings the average age up there.
Kevin Love too.
Kevin Love.
Me too.
Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love's like, I mean, if we average this out, I don't know, man.
Kevin Love might have graduated when I graduated. And I'm old.
I didn't do the math, but I don't know. Between them 2 cats, I don't know if Miami's much younger on average, man. You know.
Josh Richardson's not a spring chicken either, and neither is Alec Burks.
You know,
Right.
Scary Terry's not young. Listen, I don't know. I don't know if Miami's younger.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I would think the Knicks on average would be younger than
the Miami Heat, right?
Yeah.
Pretzi the boss, bully ball Randle is near unstoppable. They had to take him out to stop him.
That's
why I highlighted it. Every time
that comment, Jerrell.
Every time we talking, Julius Randle got injured. No. Miami hurt him. Okay, we have to say exactly what happened. All right. So and if I'm Tibbs, I'm seriously considering sitting down when we play Miami, just let the bench guys start. reverse the roles. It's gonna be tight.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. If they healthy, they playing at Jay.
I know. Hopefully, by when the clock hits 48 minutes, everybody come out of there healthy.
Yeah.
So, and last but not least, Mr. L. Shout out to Mr. L. Barring injuries, we will be in the NBA Finals this season. I just like the way that sounds. Okay, I don't know. You're gonna be right, if you're gonna be wrong. But it just sounds good to me, man. So I highlight that. Shout out to you, Mr. L. I like that. I like that. I like the optimism. All right. And of course, hit the like button before, after every segment, after every chat segment, hit the like button, man. Let's get the likes up there. Share this with your social media buddies, your platform, whatever platform you're on, man. Get us out there.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.
Are you good?
Yes, I am. Let's
Okay.
keep going. Yeah.
Let oh, sorry. Let's talk about defense. Which roster has the edge defensively? I mean, this is a formality, but we'll go through it anyway.
All right. Yeah.
We'll start with you, Jeff. Which roster has the edge defensively and why?
Well, only one team got Wingstop, and we that team. So, actually, one of the points that I want to make is that when we're matching up with Miami, one of the things that we actually missed was Quentin Grimes, because he had the size and the versatility to play Jimmy Butler pretty well. And Mikal Bridges is that same archetype defender, but better, in my opinion. And so you've got a guy who can match up with Jimmy. He can match up with Hero. He can match up with Rozier. I mean, you have a lot of versatility. You have a lot of different things you can do. And Alec Burks is not a really good defender. Duncan Robinson is suspect defensively. So they have some holes. I don't know that Jovic is a great defender either, but Randle's not either. So maybe that's kind of a wash. But they've got a lot more depth at the 5 spot than we do. And Bam always gives Mitchell Robinson fits. That's in my opinion, that's one of the worst matchups in the league for Mitch for whatever reason. And so now maybe that changes when you have 2 elite perimeter defenders surrounding him. I'm not sure, but I love Josh Hart defensively. I think Dante DiVincenzo is really good. Deuce can give you a bunch. I like our up and down the roster. I like us better defensively than Miami.
Yeah. I would agree with that. What makes the Knicks tough is that they have two-way players. So you don't even have to make that decision. Oh man, we need defense, but if we put this person in defense, how is that going to hurt us offensively? You got Mikal Bridges and you got OG Anunoby. You got 2 guys who are two-way players, and that makes a difference because you're not taking a hit offensively when you're putting them in to guard the best players on the other team. Now, the good thing about it is they're guarding the players on the best team, but they're not your 1 and 2 options on offense, because that's a lot. I need you to shut down Butler and Hero, and then I need you to be our best scorers on the other end. No, shut them down, and you're going to be our 3rd and 4th scorer on the offensive end. So I think that's a really good trade-off. Jerrell, just your thoughts. And again, this is a formality in terms of which team has the edge defensively and why.
Yeah, definitely formality is us. Like, especially fully healthy. Like, no way we talk about Mitchell Robinson the way we talk about Mitchell Robinson's defense. And it might be only a few teams that will have the edge in the whole league. And we still might be number 1 now that I think about it, with Mikal Bridges and OG and Mitch in the starting lineup. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Josh Hart, Deuce, we definitely have the edge. I think it will I'm trying to think what a team would do to actually expose us when it comes to the defensive end. Like what could a team do? We're pretty much good at every aspect on the defensive end, right, in my eyes. So
I think you would have to target Julius Randle on the switch on pick and roll. I guess that would be the only thing that I can think of. Right. Just work to get him to have to make decisions in the pick and roll, because that's not his strong suit. Anytime he has to move and switch, those are things that are not his forte. Like, I think as a one-on-one defender, like if he's just having to guard Bam, for example, I think he can do that. But if getting him in a lot of switches and a lot of actions, that can be problematic. And you can always hunt Jalen too. I mean that just because of his size.
Yeah, that's true.
So those would be the 2 areas if you're going to attack the Knicks defense. But we have with Bridges and OG Anunoby, we have two players who can help mitigate those things in a way that we didn't before, because I like to say that those two guys can guard 1.5 players, and so if you only give Brunson a half and you only give Randle a half, that still means that we're still whole. That's the way that I look at it, because they just have so much flexibility and fluidity. And you have a lot of flexibility with the lineups too, with what you want to do, but again, I'm not overly concerned about it. I'm just saying, if you're going to attack the Knicks, you're going to have to attack Julius Randle.
Yeah,
Definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I like our rotations though, and I like the fact that we could double and get back, double and recover if we need to help Julius. And the same with with Brunson. So yeah, you're right. A good point, Jeff. But I still think we'll be okay. Ajay, any thoughts defensively?
Well, I mean, it's just a formality. I'll just give you a formality and say, yeah, we better. Listen, I just think we're a better team than Miami. I'm sorry. I just think we're more athletic, more talented, more gritty. It's just, and somebody in the chat, shout out to whoever that is. I didn't star that up, but somebody said Miami's built just like us. I kind of agree with that, but we just have a little bit more talent, more youth, and more athleticism. So that's why we would prevail even if not in the regular season, but if we meet them in the playoffs, it's just going to be I just think we're a better team. We have better defenders. We're better defensively. We're better. Period.
Yeah, and we're just as gritty, if not grittier.
Gritty.
So it's not like they can bully us. Like you think about how the Knicks bullied Cleveland. Even if I'm not saying Cleveland was more talented, but even if they were, if you're real physical with a more talented team, if you're grittier than a more talented team, you can kind of wear them down, and their talent doesn't even come to the fore because you're just so physical with them. And Miami has done that as well to other teams. And you can argue the first time we played them that they did that to us, that they were more physical than we were in some of those games. That ain't the case anymore.
I say, hell, that's what we did.
That's what we did, exactly. That's what we do.
That's how we were.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Now you have weapons. You can't just. Right. It's not just the Jalen Brunson show anymore. Like you can't just, like they were throwing the entire kitchen sink at Jalen, and he was still cooking them. And then now you have elite wing shooters, corner shooters like OG and Bridges, and if you add in a healthy Julius Randle, there are a lot fewer answers that Miami can provide, especially given their personnel than 2 years ago when we met them in the postseason.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The next question is a two-parter. Just pick one. You don't have to answer both. Are there any individual matchups you're looking forward to, or any individual matchups you're concerned about? So just pick one of the questions to answer. Jerrell, we'll start with you. Oh, let's go through this and then we'll check in with the chat.
Well, with me, the concern is definitely like Bam versus Mitch. It has to be a concern. Like Bam always, he's a really tough player, and Mitch always has a problem with him. So that concerns me. Not saying that Mitch can't, actually be better and actually, control the game in a 7-game series. But up until this point, Bam has gotten the best of him, to be honest. So, yeah, that will be my matchup of concern. Definitely.
Anybody else? Concern or matchup you're looking forward to?
Oh, there's several awesome matchups in there. When you look at the lineups, you look at Jalen Brunson against Scary Terry. That's going to be a battle. Mikal Bridges against Tyler Hero. Not so much a battle, but like how is Mikal Bridges going to do to contain that guy? You know what I'm saying? To stop him from going off. And, of course, OG Anunoby, Jimmy Butler.
Oof,
You know,
oof.
that's gonna be something to watch. You know, like two like greedy, grimy guys who's going at it. You know, especially OG Anunoby, a guy who doesn't talk a lot, but do all his talking on the court.
Mhm.
You know, he doesn't run his mouth a lot, but he plays like, you know. So that's gonna be that's gonna be a nice matchup to watch. Julius Randle, again, I don't think that guy Nicole. I don't know what they're gonna do with this starting lineup. That's just he don't look like he belong in that starting lineup. But if they put him against Julius Randle, I mean, it's you know, if Julius Randle's gonna have to play some defense, but on offense, this is gonna be a walk in the park for him. I mean, he's
Usually
gonna.
they put Bam on Julius though,
Oh,
and then Jokic might be able to play Mitchell Robinson because you don't have to really defend Mitchell Robinson.
oh, ouch.
Well, I mean,
You
uh,
know,
on the offensive, on the offensive end, you don't really have to defend Mitchell Robinson. So
You put him in a dunking spot, that kid can't do nothing. That kid, he's not gonna grab a rebound over Mitch. I don't think. I mean, it's gonna be one of those 20 offensive rebound for Mitch if you put that guy on him.
right.
So
Right.
yeah, but definitely OG Anunoby, Jimmy Butler is something I look forward to that. That's gonna be a good one. You know?
Yeah.
The matchup of concern is Julius Randle's shoulder against Jaime Jaquez Jr. That's the one we have to worry about.
Yeah. My matchups. I like Jimmy Butler and OG. And the Knicks have a few plays they could throw on Jimmy Butler. They can throw Josh Hart. I'm not as sold that Mikal Bridges can defend up and down the lineup. I think he's better defending down because of his thin frame than he is defending up like power forwards. But again, I haven't watched him game in and game out, so I don't know. I'll know by the 20th game of the season. But OG Anunoby and Jimmy Butler and Julius Randle and Bam Adebayo. I definitely want to see that matchup. I don't think there's anyone I want to see in the second unit. Yeah, it would be those two. And also I would say Jalen Brunson and Jimmy, because that's who's gonna guard Jalen Brunson. That's who's guarded him in the past. Maybe not for every possession, but he had a good number of possessions, particularly in the playoffs when we played them on Jalen Brunson. Who else, when you look up and down that lineup, who else you putting on Jalen Brunson?
right.
And not
He's
you're not
cooking him no matter who it is, even if it's Jimmy.
Yeah. Maybe Rozier's, if I remember correctly, is not a good defensive player. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
No, he just cooks the Knicks though. When we play him, he'll have his 30-point game against New York every time.
Oh yeah, he's nice on the offensive end. Definitely, he can score.
Yeah. In a 4-game series, and I forgot to look up how many times we play them. I know Orlando and Indiana, we only play 3 times. I would think we play Miami 4. Let's just say we played them 4 times. What's the season series?
3-1 Knicks is what I'd say.
Yeah, they'll get one. I'm changing that, man. We sweeping them.
No, well,
I just thought about it. My first time back on the show, we sweeping everybody. Steph
right,
name
right.
tonight.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
82-0.
Sweep.
Listen, they get one if somebody get hurt, like somebody get a rest day or like a day off or something.
Right.
Yeah, Knicks 100 at GM says 2-2. Knicks 100 at GM. How long you been watching the Knicks? If you don't want to give your age, because some Knicks fans got this. I'm not saying this is you, Knicks 100 at GM. I'm just saying in general, some Knicks fans has the serious PTSD.
Mhm.
Like we could trade right now for Giannis, and people will still be scared that we ain't gonna get out the first round.
Yep.
You know, um,
Yep.
this Knicks team is good and versatile, and we'll talk about this in some future shows. Mikal Bridges, um,
Man, he goes back to Trent Tucker and Kiki Vandeweghe.
Oh yeah, you old and yeah, you got PTSD.
yeah,
Just like
yeah,
the rest- just like the rest of us.
There's no
Most of
doubt,
it, like,
especially with Miami.
yeah, all of us got a little bit of it.
yeah. But at some point, you just gotta concede and be like, I think we got it. You know, roster wise, you got to play the games. You have to play the games. But roster wise, this next team is good. All right. Anything else? Do we have anything from the chat?
Yeah, we got a couple of things from the chat. Let's see here.
See,
They got to stay on brand.
Shout out to DKEJ21. What's up? I'm not even. I'm just saying. I agree with that.
hopefully it's somebody.
Just because
else.
as I was thinking it and he wrote it, so shout out to you, man. All right. Shout out to Nick Yak, always rocking with us. Knicks best defense in the league last year. Is that true by the numbers? I don't know. I don't know that that's true. Or is Nick Yak making up stuff?
I don't know if the Knicks were the number one team in defense.
It was up there, but I don't know.
We were up there.
Who's the best? Was Boston the best defensive team?
They were up there too. I'll look it up.
Let's look it up. I'm curious to know.
Yeah.
Who?
No problem. I'm looking it up right now.
What team was like beast on defense last season? I don't know.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston was good. I mean, they had very good defense, man. I know Geoff don't want to hear that, but you know they were very good. There's a good team.
Won it all, man. You know, I mean,
but with ease, it's not just won it all. Like it came easy.
All right. So the regular season, the number one team in defensive rating was Minnesota, 108.4 points per 100 possessions. Then it was Boston, Orlando, OKC, Miami, New Orleans, Cleveland, Denver. The Knicks were ninth in defensive rating in the regular season. Now, if he's talking playoffs,
Cleveland was better than us. Damn.
Yeah, boy,
Cleveland was really good.
They were
on defense last year. They have those two bigs, Mobley and Jared Allen.
Yeah, Mobley's soft, man. I mean, he is softy.
In the playoffs, the Knicks were the worst. Was 15 out of 16 in defensive rating, giving up 100. Is that right? Giving up 120.6 points per 100 possessions in the playoffs. Orlando was first. They only played 7 games. They gave up 100 points per 100 possessions. So
that makes sense.
Top 10 during the regular season, 15 out of 16 teams in the playoffs. And the reason why defensive rating is used is because it gives everybody 100 possessions, right? A team that plays fast may get, more possessions and have the opportunity to play, more points. I mean, to post more points. So defensive rating, everybody gets 100 possessions. How many points do you score in 100 possessions, or do you allow in 100 possessions? So the Knicks allowed a lot in the playoffs. Didn't seem like it, but it was 120.6 points. My goodness.
You got to think about who we played, though, Steph. We played MB in the first round.
Yeah.
And then we played the Pacers, who was probably the number one offense in the league last year. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like, that doesn't mean we, played bad defense. The two teams that we played were very, very good on offense.
Right.
But also the other good point, the other good news with that stat is even with that terrible defense, we still won all those games. That means our offense was off the chart.
Well, I will tell you what our offense was. Yeah. Our offense in the playoffs last year was number 2 behind. We still scored less points than we gave up in the playoffs. But we scored 118.1 points per 100 possessions. We were number 2 in the playoffs behind Indiana.
See,
Yeah.
excellent offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks, Nick Yak. Andrew, I don't want to mess up your last name, so I'm gonna
K.
say Andrew K. Can the Raptors win the playoff? No.
No.
Next.
Ajay is not the North.
Sid Freud 929. We putting Sims on Bam. Listen, man. Sims ain't not seeing the floor when we play in Miami, man. Unless somebody's hurt. If nobody's injured, you're not seeing Jericho Sims on the floor when we play in Miami. What say you, panel? I just don't think Jericho Sims. Jerrell, I know how you feel.
Yeah, you might as well skip me.
Skip.
Ask everybody.
So Steph and
I don't
Jeff.
see,
Steph and
I don't
Jeff.
see much Jericho happening.
I don't see. I mean, if
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, if Sims is playing Bam, you know, a lot has happened to get us to that point.
Or we do what Miami does, right? Put one guy just to get another guy injured. So we put Sims in there just to get Bam hurt. You know, one of those things. But Jericho Sims not seeing the floor. I just don't see it. Yeah. So, all right. So shout out to Nick Yak again. If Mitch just has to worry about Bam, he will do fine.
Really?
What do you guys think? I don't know. I think
I know. No. I mean, think about Bam. Bam is a center who can shoot, put the ball on the floor, and post. Like, he's very, you know, he's a versatile player. That's not a good matchup for Mitch.
it's a terrible matchup for him.
And if I'm Thibodeau, why would you have Mitch out there on Bam? It's not a favorable matchup. That's when you go to the small ball lineup and put OG Anunoby, put Randle. I don't even know if Randle can hold Bam. Probably put OG Anunoby on him. The thing about Bam is a lot of times he's in self-check. Like, a lot of times he's just not as aggressive as he could be on the offensive end. But that's a bad matchup. And if I'm Thibodeau, no, you cannot allow that for more than a few possessions.
I agree.
I think Precious might not be that bad on him because he's got that much size and
yes,
and you've got that switchability between he and OG Anunoby. I think that I think that's one of the matchups where, like, you couldn't do that against Philadelphia, but you can do that against Miami, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Ajay. I forgot about Precious, president of the Precious Club.
That's true.
Don't forget
He's
Precious.
like Gollum over there, my Precious.
My guy. Knicks 100 AGM. We have a very good team on court or on paper. I agree 100%. That's why I started, because I think we do have a good team on paper and on court.
I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying we have a very good team on court or on paper. What are we talking about here?
I'm saying we have both.
We have both. I think we have.
I think he's asking a question. Yeah, he's asking a question. I'm saying we have both.
We have both. Yeah, I think right now we're good on paper. I mean, I think at the first game we'll be we'll be good on the court. It ain't gonna take long for you to see just how good this team is. But it's fair. It's fair next 100 a GM to say we're just good on paper. But there's no doubt in my mind you'll see how good this team.
That's all we got right now. It's the preseason. The preseason. I mean, everybody's on paper right now. We can't, unless you've got a time machine.
That's right.
Oh, he's saying we're both. Okay.
Shout out to Kerry Cox. Heat have no bench. I disagree with that. We look at the lineups. They got Alec Burks. They got
Josh Richardson, Duncan Robinson,
Jaime. I mean,
Khalil Ware.
Okay, you know.
Interestingly enough, think about it this way. With all of our injuries last year, Alec Burks didn't come off the bench for us until there was like the last man standing. And hypothetically, we're even deeper this year. So I think that speaks to our depth over their depth.
True.
And kind of, I'm just agreeing with Kerry Cox here in comparison. That's all I'm saying. I think our bench is stronger than theirs.
Yep. Knicks 100 GM 2-2
versus Miami.
Yeah, listen, but I see 3-1. Just like I think Jerrell said sweep. I like that. That sounds
sweep.
Good. But I'd be a little conservative. I say 3-1. I would give him throw him a bone. So they'll probably win a game. All right.
But when I say sweep, we still could go 7 in the playoffs with them, though. like they are the Miami Heat still.
Yeah, I was talking about the regular season series.
Yeah.
The season series. Yeah.
Yeah, we could beat them every game during the regular season.
Yeah, but if we meet them in the playoffs, I think we'll win. And it may not even go to game 7. I think it's probably going to be a 4-2 series. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. Next up, hit the like button.
Where we at now? Do a wow.
No, we did a little something. When I came on, they added a little something. Right now, let me see. Let me refresh this thing. Oh, we had 60. That's pretty good. 60 out of 98, man. Come on, let's get that thing up to 70. I need 10 more likes right now in the next minute.
Shout out to Mega rocking with us. Appreciate you. Darrell Ferguson, Nick Yak.
Yeah, Knicks 100 GM, man. We got Kerry Cox. Yeah,
Public Enemy #1. Been a minute, right? I think it's been a minute. Appreciate you.
JJ in the house.
Quiet Money in the house.
Quiet Money. HB Carlos from Portugal. Am I right? Appreciate you. Rocking with us. Sherwin, of course. Mac Man. Andrew K. All right. And all those that's watching that's not in the chat, and of course the replay gang.
The replay gang, HP Call of Duty. We surveyed 100 people showing up. Dwayne Dennis always in here.
Yeah, man, it's 10:30. We got 100 people watching.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I would like 100 but
at least 98.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me hit the like button. Hold on.
Yeah, I got 102 on mine.
I came in late, so I forgot to hit
After all this, you hit the
Oh, my God, Jerrell, come on. At least I admit it.
Because I ain't hit it until after you came on.
There you go. Hey, you front like you had it. You had that.
All right. So we're gonna move on to Cleveland. That was a good segment. I think it's one thing to look at your team and be like, yeah, we beat everybody, and then to put the roster and be like, we still gonna beat them, but a little more respect. All right, let's move on to Cleveland. At guard, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. At forward, Max Strauss, Evan Mobley, who they gave a max contract to. And at center, Jared Allen. Off the bench, I don't think they signed Isaac Okoro yet. Somebody check me if I'm wrong, but I think they will. Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and George Niang. I'm not feeling their bench. And then situational, I think that's Sam Morrell, the S. And I don't know what the C is. Is that Chris Porter Jr.? So that's Cleveland. So we'll just start again with just our overall thoughts on their roster. Shout out to David G. I don't know if we shouted him out when we went through it. Jerrell, then Geoff, then Ajay. Just your overall thoughts on the roster.
I like their starting five. I don't like their bench really. Overall, I think we like this team. Like I don't have any. Not worried about Cleveland at all. Not this year.
Miami look better now.
Miami look a lot better than Cleveland when you look at their roster, especially when you talk about their coaching. Also, like
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm
They have a
not.
new coach.
Yep. Who's the coach now?
Atkinson, Kenny Atkinson.
Kenny Atkinson. I like Kenny Atkinson, but yeah, I just don't see it this year for them. I don't think Donovan Mitchell gonna stay there. I
Oh,
think
he signed the extension.
I don't mean that.
That's
It's
true.
still Cleveland stuff. He can
He
still
gonna
win.
act out. He gonna act
Yeah,
out.
I don't see this team going far, to be honest. I don't think him and Darius Garland play well together. Evan Mobley, I think he's talented, but I don't know, he's soft and he ain't really ready yet, in my opinion, either. Yeah, so I don't really think that highly of this roster, to be honest. Like I like Orlando's roster way better than this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jeff, what's your thoughts on the roster?
Well, I kind of think they play better when either Garland or Mitchell are hurt.
Right.
Like I agree with it. They need to make a move. They need to move one of those guys, in my opinion. The bench certainly looks thin. Karis LeVert, when he's healthy, is a good player, though.
Mm-hmm.
But Dean Wade, George Niang, I'm not feeling that. But again, with Mobley and Allen, and they played good defense. Defense wins you a lot of games, but in the Eastern, I actually agree. I'm much more impressed with Miami's roster, and I'm much more impressed with Indiana's roster, actually, and Orlando's as well. So as crazy as it sounds, as good as they were last year, I kind of feel like all the other teams got better, and I'm looking at this roster, and I think Atkinson is a great developmental coach. Whether that's what this team needs or not, I don't know. So I'm not sure if the fit's going to be great there either. But it looks like a lot of teams took a step forward, and it kind of feels like this team might take a step backwards. Just based on everybody else seems to have leapfrogged them. Like I think Philly's much better than them. I think Milwaukee is much better than them. I think we're much better than them. I think Boston's much better than them. I like Orlando better. I like Indiana better, and I like Miami better just from watching what the roster is now. But again, that's in flux. If they can move Garland for a piece that fits better, maybe that changes things. The upgrade at small forward seems like I'm not a big Max Strus fan, and he's not a bad player, but he's not amazing or anything. And I don't think their front court players. I don't think Mobley and Allen are really a great fit chemistry wise either. I think but they have the pieces to make a nice move. You could package two of those guys together and get something decent. Like if you were to send Allen and Garland somewhere, you could get probably a really good package, of players to bolster that roster. And Donovan Mitchell is still fantastic. I mean, I'm not going to underestimate him, but yeah, I think that this team is on the decline, just based on what I'm seeing from their roster.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I agree with everything you said. Those other rosters on paper, everything is on paper right now, right? They can start playing and become better than the sum of their parts. But looking on paper, I don't see it. And let me tell you something. You talking about frustration? Donovan Mitchell is going to bust up a vein. He's the only offensive player who you can count on game in and game out to score for you. That's not true. Garland is a good scorer as well, but he stirs the drink. You got Mitchell, you got Mikal Bridges, you got OG Anunoby. Donovan Mitchell is going to be super frustrated game in and game out playing the Knicks. You could throw Miles McBride on him. You could throw you could throw Dante on him. He still might get his little, Josh Hart. We just have a lot of players we can throw at Donovan Mitchell that, like, I don't even see them scoring, not scoring a lot. And then look at the bench. Isaac Okoro is not even signed yet, right? I just put him in there just, because it seems like that, he's not getting a lot of traction anywhere else as a restricted free agent. But you're right. When you look at this roster on paper,
Don't like it at all.
I don't like it at all. And to your point, Jeff, there's rumblings that Evan Mobley is not going to fulfill his potential until you put him in that center spot that Jared Allen is in, and like you said, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell hasn't been great fits so far. Maybe Kenny Atkinson will figure it out, right? But the Knicks are, in my opinion, head and tails above this Cleveland roster. Jerrell?
If Evan Mobley is their starting center, they're gonna have to get Charles Oakley or something. What is Evan Mobley gonna do at the 5? To be honest, who are they beating in a playoff series?
Orlando.
And maybe not them either. Like I think I got
Well, they did
Orlando
last
beating.
year. Is the only reason I said.
Right.
It's the only reason I said it at all. But
Right.
Yeah, like
but they've done it before, so if they've done it before, they could, potentially do it again.
Like you take Jared Allen off that team, and I'm not even that high on him, but I definitely am not high on Evan Mobley manning the 5 position. Like this team would be terrible, I think.
It depends on who you get at the 4. The only reason I say that is because of his skill set. You'll have more space.
True.
For the rest of them to, but you can utilize his skill set at the 4. You can utilize his skill set at the power forward. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think their problem is the guards don't play well, and they need a 3. They need a real 3.
They need a real 3.
Matt Strauss, I don't even count him as a starter, really. Like he's a French starter. He could come off somebody's bench somewhere else.
Yeah. And I think Mobley is soft. And I haven't seen a lot of growth in his game. All right, it's just year 3. I think he's going into year 3, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it 4?
Might be 4.
If he's going into 4.
Hold on, let me see.
Come on now. I just haven't, he came out with a lot of expectations. I thought he would be a little further ahead. And I'll never forget what's my show, that Cleveland YouTube show. I gotta find that clip. When they played the Knicks, that guy was so upset. He said, Mobley up there looking like a 2-piece chicken and biscuit. The Knicks just picked him up.
Evan Mobley, this is going to be his 4th season, and he only played 50 games last year. Like he got hurt.
Yeah. See, and they maxed him out, I guess, based on his potential.
Mm-hmm. They didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
It's still Cleveland. Like if you have any rookie that's worth a damn, you're gonna give them a second contract. Like you have to.
Right.
Ain't nobody coming there.
That's true. And the reason they were able to re-sign Donovan Mitchell because all of the options around him dried up.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we'll
you want to go through offense and defense?
We can just do them together. We can just do them together. That's a formality in terms of who has the edge both offensively and defensively. Jerrell, not Jerrell. Ajay, we'll start with you. We'll put both of them together, both questions together. Ain't no sense dragging it out.
First of all, I think the Knicks, it's not even close. We know that because Cavs is what we call tier 2 teams, 1 or tier 2 teams, and we're better than them both offensively and defensively. I don't even, their bench is, like you said, is mad suspect. So I don't even they come to think of it, and even in the second tier, I don't even think they're gonna be top of the tiers. And when we get to the chat, somebody mentioned they're a playing team. I kind of tend to agree with that. They didn't make any improvement from last season. It's basically the same team. So they it's so other teams got better, these guys stays exactly the same. So and technically these guys got worse in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I don't see them making a lot of noise. Listen, they still got Donovan Mitchell, so they're not to be underestimated. and they still got a bunch of other guys that that could come in and chip in and great role players. But in the playoff series, they're not like if they make it to the playoffs, they're a first round exit.
Mm.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we better than them both on both ends of the court. Defensively, we know they can't play defense. I mean, you have both guys, both of their guards are not defensive guards.
Right.
Okay, they have no defense in the backcourt, and
Right.
you have their front court is, and they basically have Mobley and Jared Allen, and Jared Allen's really good at rebounding, shot block, so it's a good defensive player, and so is Mobley. But Max Strus is not going to give you a whole lot of defense. That's probably why Miami let him go. He's a hell of a shooter, but he's not a defender. So Spo ain't want nothing to do with him.
Right.
And Mobley, I think we all agree he's soft. He's wobbly. We call him Wobbly Mobley.
Wobbly Mobley.
So and then wobbly.
We're just better. We're just a better team, like all around. I don't even.
Yeah. I mean, looking at this again, I would probably move Cleveland down in the 1 through 8 rankings that I had.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of that second tier.
Like I have the Pacers above them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The Magic, Orlando's above.
Yeah, I have Orlando too.
Wow.
I mean, Orlando took them to the limit last year without KCP,
and Miami's above them. So
yeah.
I mean, on paper, they look like the best they could do is the 8th seed.
Wow.
So could the Cavs be a play-in team?
That's yeah. They are.
I mean, when we do the last show with Boston, we're going to talk about teams that's 9 through 16 who might push into the top 8. I think the only teams that really has a chance, in my opinion, would be Atlanta and Chicago. But they got a lot of issues too. So Cleveland might, they might still get it just because there's no one else 9 through 16 that we push.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody else didn't get a chance to? Geoff, did you get a chance to comment or want to add
I'm
anything?
looking at it this way. Like, if you want to, I'm going to give Donovan Mitchell his flowers and respect and call he and Brunson 1A and 1B. But after that, I'm taking Bridges, Anunoby, and Randle as the next 3 best players that I would want over. And then I'm starting to think about Allen and Mobley and then, and Garland. So I think we have 4 of the best 5 players to begin with. And our bench is, I think a lot of our bench is better than Max Strus, to be honest with you. I would take Deuce over him. I would certainly take Hart and DiVincenzo over him. So, just from that standpoint, you're talking about just a much more talented roster, again, on paper. But, yeah, I don't think it's close. But I will say this. If you have a healthy Donovan Mitchell, you're going to win probably at minimum 45 games because he's just that good.
He is just that good. Yeah, he is just that good.
He is.
Yeah. Any matchup you're looking forward to or any matchups you're concerned about?
Mitchell and Brunson is always a matchup worth it. I mean, get your popcorn. That's why we watch the NBA, is to see guys like that go at each other, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I call that the quarterback matchup because they don't play each other. You got Jalen Brunson against their defense or the best player on their defense, and then Donovan Mitchell against the best player on our best player defensively. But yeah, it's I love when those two guys these two teams play against each other just to see Brunson and Mitchell perform. And I think that would be it, probably, to see Donovan Mitchell with Bridges or whoever else. We could throw the house at him.
Right.
I'm not big on OG playing down. I think he's good playing 3 4s, even a little 5. Playing 1s and 2s. I'm not You know, I'm not so sure about that. And Mikal Bridges, I think, is pretty good playing twos, threes, but fours, you know, we'll see. You know,
I
we'll
don't
see.
think we're going to need him to. I mean, that's what we have Josh Hart for if we need somebody to guard a four.
Right.
I don't know that Bridges is just not going to be tasked with it. I'm not saying he's incapable of it. I just don't think he'll be tasked with doing that at any point in time with Hart and Randall and OG, you know, and Precious. I mean, you've got four guys who at least can do that one thing better than him. So you'd have to have some combination of three of those being out of the lineup where you'd even have to look at it.
Yeah. I agree. Any matchups you're concerned about? I don't see any either.
I mean, other than keeping, you know, Donovan Mitchell from scoring 70 points, I don't see this team beating us at all. Like, I don't see any matchup problems. Yeah. Like, Donovan Mitchell is a matchup problem onto itself. Like, he's going to be a matchup problem for anybody. Anybody else, I don't see it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else on Cleveland before we turn to the chat? This was a quick study.
Hey, sometimes that's the way it is.
Hey, that's a good thing.
All right.
Be at the chat. Shout out to Sherwing. Cleveland is a playing team. I agree.
You think a playing team niner, that means Atlanta, Chicago, or somebody else moves into the top 8?
No, Queen. We have the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, playing would be 7 through
7
10.
or 8.
Okay,
7 through 10. 7, 8, 9,
okay,
10.
Yeah.
So Cleveland is. I mean, unless you think Cleveland's gonna do better than Miami, Orlando, or Indiana.
No.
I agree that they're possibly on paper they look like a playing team.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember, guys, everything's on paper. Okay. So, Deep Public Academy. Number 1, Orlando, Indiana, Milwaukee, Boston, and Cleveland is the team I'm most focused on. Miami Heat, not worried. Yeah, I disagree with that.
He more focused on Cleveland than Miami. That's interesting.
Yeah,
but yeah, all of those teams are, you know, they're going to be the top teams. You know,
and I hope Deep Public. I hope he doesn't have them in order of like teams we worried about, because he got Orlando, Miami, Orlando, Indiana first, then Milwaukee, Boston, you know, and then Cleveland. So I hope this is all shuffled.
Yeah, I'm more worried about Miami. Worried is a strong word. Mm-hmm. I'm more concerned about Miami than Cleveland.
Right. We would prepare for Miami. Cleveland is like, guys, you'll go to the club and come back and play.
No. Don't get carried away.
I ain't said they're not Cleveland State. They still the Cavaliers.
They're still a threat. We don't need to be taking anybody lightly.
You're not Cleveland University.
I know. Every team in the NBA, any team in the NBA can beat you on any given night. So you got to.
The Cavs are going to win 45 games
because there's no place to go. So they'll be focused when they go to Cleveland. There's nowhere to go.
Ain't nothing to do.
No barbecue and then just going back to the hotel.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is focused. Ain't nothing to do in Cleveland.
Yeah. Kerry Cox, out to Kerry Cox. Cavs are a spoiler. Watch them. They just may beat Philly. Yeah,
really?
One game out of it. One game.
I just don't.
I don't see them beating Philly. I think Philly is going to be really good.
Yeah,
Philly's tight, man.
And of course, we're talking everybody is healthy, right? For all of these teams, we're talking about if everybody is healthy, including us.
Right.
I don't see it unless Mobley takes a huge leap.
Man, he had to look like Tim Duncan or something. I don't see that leap coming.
I agree with you. I agree with you. If you, especially if you have Max Strus at the 3.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Shout out to Hazak who just joined us.
Quiet Money says the Cavs definitely don't scare me. I agree with you, my guy. Yeah, I ain't scared. I ain't losing sleep over the Cavs.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, we do have to prepare for them. We're not gonna go to the club and complain, but yeah, they don't scare me either. All right. JJ says Cav bench is poor. We agree. Not much that, and I think that's their weakness because their starting lineup is decent, but they don't have a bench.
Right.
They really don't have a good bench. So I don't, that's why I don't think they're not gonna get far because they don't have a bench.
Mm-hmm.
So JJ says Cavs are just kind of there, always good, but never a true title can. I mean, right now I don't even know. I mean, they're kind of like barely there. The title threat is not even, that shouldn't even be mentioned in the same sentence as the Cavs right now.
Yeah.
That ain't happening unless all the teams before that get like 50% their players injured. The Cavs ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. But they have assets to make a trade. Like you said, if you put Jared Allen and Garland together, you might be able to get somebody. And then that changes everything.
Or Okoro, which I don't think that they probably throw him in there too.
He would be a throw-in, though. I don't.
Yeah, he would be a throw-in.
Yo, Steph funny. He would be a throw-in.
He would be a throw-in. I don't see a lot of value there.
Yeah. Nick Yak, shout out to Nick Yak, always rocking with us. Head-to-head, Brunson abuses. Yeah, and that's been like for like 5 seasons running right now. Since he was with the Mavericks, like he really abused Donovan Mitchell. I mean, no doubt. I think he takes pleasure. I think he looks forward to playing Spider, just to beat him, just to beat the hell out of him.
I don't think they can play each other though. Let's not get it twisted. Like Jalen Brunson could check him either.
Yeah, no, they can't play. No. That's 50 apiece.
No, 50 apiece.
50 apiece. But for some reason, though, Brunson team always win. Like always get the better.
Yeah,
definitely. I like that.
And I remember when we played him, not the season that just happened, the season before that, when we played in the first round. I mean, and actually not in the playoffs. This that 4th game of the season. I remember that very clearly. Donovan Mitchell came in on fire.
Yeah.
Fire. At the end of the first half, you look at the score, you're like, oh, holy crap. Brunson had more points than he did. But meanwhile, Donovan Mitchell, he couldn't miss. But than he did. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he does abuse poor Donovan Mitchell.
Poor Donovan Mitchell.
I wouldn't call Donovan poor. They cut the check to that, bro. Yeah, this is many things.
Poor Spider.
Poor Spider.
Mitch destroyed their front court. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And not just Mitch, but you got to throw in. Josh Hart did a number on them too. Yeah. It was a combination of our guys that beat the crap out of them. Yeah, and they made Mobley look really soft in that series last.
Really did.
Like I said, they don't have anybody that can even be close to checking Julius Randle. Mm-mm. No way.
Because he bodied Mobley on a tender ankle.
All right. Shout out to Knicks 108 GM. Cavs will dismantle the Knicks. So
double PTSD.
Yeah, he's suffering some definitely Knicks PTSD right now. KPTSD. All right, he's suffering.
I would like to know dismantle how, in what way.
I don't know.
Like what's the weakness? Knicks 100 a GM. If you want to call in,
yeah, please. I would love to know how will the Cavs dismantle the Knicks.
Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, what do you think our weakness is when it comes to the Cavs? When it comes to the Cavs, that you think that they would dismantle us? I just don't.
Maybe
I just don't see it.
Yeah, maybe Knicks under the GM seeing something we're not seeing.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
Call us up. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? That was it.
Yeah, we got a couple more. Shout out to Jack City who made a grand entrance. Damn
Yo,
it.
salute
Brother,
Jack.
that's your
Salute
brother.
Jack
Both of
City.
y'all come in.
Salute.
A Knick fan just entered the chat. You don't say anything.
Word.
You just
You'll say that's it. Just he
symbolic.
announced himself.
Just be dark skinned and
He's
late
like-
all the time.
It's like it's one of those like too bad this don't come with like people got their own theme song. I think Jack City got his own theme song.
Yeah, Jack cool,
good to hear.
man. Met Jack at Legends before. Like he cool.
yeah.
Cool young dude, man.
Yeah. Kerry Cox, are the Cavs better than Orlando? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
KCP
Orlando's a better team.
Yeah, KCP going to Orlando. That was
Yeah.
I think that's a bigger deal than a lot of people give them credit. Like he matches them pretty well.
Yeah.
And he could shoot. That
He
was
could shoot.
Orlando's big weakness last year was perimeter shooting. And KCP can shoot the rock, and he's a good defender. I mean, every team could use a KCP. Let's be honest. I mean, he's not an all-star, but there's not a team that's going to say, yeah, if you could get a player like KCP in your rotation, you do it just because he's good at basketball things.
He's bringing that veteran experience and leadership.
Like Ron, still Knicks fans. Speaking of veteran experience, salute to you.
Or
Right.
and plus Paolo is going to be. I think Paolo is going to be better. I think he's the type of player that will be better each season that he plays. I really like his game, and I know Cleveland, gave them trouble last year, but this year coming up, I think Orlando is going to be better than they were last year.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Paolo too. I think that Caro is that guy. I think he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah. I like Wagner too.
Yep. Which
I like
one?
both Wagners actually. I think they're both
Which one?
but
The good one. No, the younger one.
Yeah.
I just don't like when they play the Knicks.
Of course.
well, yeah, I got you.
And Knicks 100, the GM showing more signs of Knicks PTSD.
Can easily be top 2. Okay, he's high on Cleveland.
But Knicks 100 a G, and if you don't want to call in, drop it in the chat. What is it about Cleveland that you're seeing that you think they can be a top 2 seed? They don't have a good bench. They're starting Max Strauss, who you can argue is a 6-man or a bench player. So you think that Jared Allen, for all he does defensively, he's not going to score for you. So Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, and Garland, you think is going to be enough to secure a number 2 seed in this Eastern Conference? I just don't see it.
Yeah, so before I thought he was down. So it's not PTSD. He's not down on the Knicks. He's just really, really high on Cleveland.
High on okay.
If he got them going top, possibly, easily, I should say.
Easily, yeah.
Top 2. Okay.
Yeah. First things first, Johnny Bryant.
Johnny Bryant.
Johnny Bryant ain't playing. Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, man. That's his opinion.
So D Cooler 718, Philly's biggest threat to Knicks. I don't know in what sense. There are other teams that are just as big threats as Boston, Milwaukee Bucks.
I see because of Embiid, that factor, they are going to be a problem if he is healthy.
Milwaukee's going to be a problem.
Killing us on one.
He was giving us 50 on one leg, AJ. And that's when we had Isaiah Hartenstein. So if he is healthy, that is a big if, because he's always not healthy during that time of the season, to be honest. Philly is going to be a problem for us. If they are all healthy. Yeah, for everyone. It's not just us. They are going to be they're going to be a problem if they are healthy.
But they're not the biggest problem. I mean, Boston's going to be one of the biggest, just as big as Philly. It's going to be a problem. I don't think Milwaukee's less of a problem than Philly is. We have those 3 teams are just 3 huge problems for the Knicks.
I think maybe just because I have Philly over Milwaukee. I'm not high on Milwaukee this year for some reason.
Yeah, we're going to go over both of those teams next week.
And go over their roster. Their roster looks low. their roster looks a little different.
It does. They made signed some players, Milwaukee, that I like. DeLon Wright, the tall guard who ended the season with Miami. Taurean Prince, who played with believe it was the Lakers last season. And then they got Gary Trent Jr. from Toronto, who's not known as a defensive player, but definitely can help them offensively, though his shot can be a little streaky. I like what Milwaukee did. We'll go over them more in depth, like I said, next week.
They put Dame second year, being a little bit more comfortable. The only reason I'm really down on not the only reason, but they got Doc Rivers as coach. So I think we're better than them just because of them, just because of that. So I think
Nick, so they'll be up there, make the playoffs, rolling in all hot, and then they cool off.
Yeah, you're right. I definitely agree with that. They're definitely going to be in the playoffs and up there.
So, all right, the last couple of ones, just because it's just shout out to Jack City, man. It's just spitting facts right now. Knicks, he made a grand entrance. The Knicks first seed, Boston second seed. That's what I'm talking about.
Now that's your man's, right? Now that's your man.
Right. Here comes the Jack of Spades.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's funny. Gotta be the first seed.
Shout out to Jack City, man. Then he had the whole lineup, but the rest don't matter. Knicks 1, Boston 2, and then the rest they can scramble at the bottom. All right, yeah, that was it for the chat, man. It's Quiet Money. Smash the like button. I don't know where we at with the likes, man.
I appreciate you.
Oh, 75 likes, pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's up.
75 likes.
Big fan Breezy must be a net fan. Jack City, the Knicks not dominating the Nets. This is not 2 years ago now.
The Nets.
Sweet.
Who?
Sweet.
Where the Nets play?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wait. Didn't we sweep them this season? Last season? Didn't we sweep the Nets? They didn't win. We swept.
I think so.
We swept.
I think we did.
And they were better last season. They got a little less. They got worse. We got better. Listen, unless somebody get hurt, it's the NBA. Anything can happen. Man, but we swept them last season.
We gave him bogey, man. And he's still how he doing over there?
Wow. I mean, that's all we have for T. I just briefly in the next 10 minutes that we have. I just have a question. I want to talk a little bit about Randle and this trade. Every time you look at an article, there's another proposed trade. And I know we keep saying clickbait, but I don't know. He wasn't signed to an extension. Do you think that's signaling that he's up for grabs because he can become an unrestricted free agent? The Knicks don't want to lose him. They haven't signed him. Do you think that's where all of this trade talk is coming from? Randle. So I saw two. I saw trading him to Dallas now.
For who? I'm sorry.
All of these, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Jaden Hardy, and a 2025 first round pick via Toronto. Then, yeah, I know.
Wait. 1 first round pick is not even theirs?
Right. Well, Toronto's would probably be better, right? 2020. Yeah. And then Pat Beverly, wasn't a mock trade, but he just wants him to sign with Sacramento. So is this a case where there's smoke, there's fire, and maybe we're thinking this is clickbait, but it's more than clickbait? Because you see, I mean, it's like you can't even Google Knicks without a trade.
Right.
And do you think the fact that the Knicks haven't signed him to an extension. They have until June 30th to sign him to an extension, from what I understand. If he's going to pick up his option, he has till sometime in October to pick up the option. Other than that, that's off the table. But do you think the fact that the Knicks haven't signed him to an extension is what's feeding these rumors, at least of late?
Probably. I mean, I guess from the outside looking in, like if you're not a Knicks fan, you would think that Julius Randle is the odd man out, just because of relationships. Like, say if you don't follow the team and you're just a casual NBA fan that don't know a lot about the Knicks, you just know that the moves that they made, with getting Mikal Bridges, bringing OG, signing him to that contract, them not, I don't know. It's just weird to me how Julius Randle should be on the trading block. I don't see any sense in it, to be honest.
Me neither.
So it's kind of hard to wrap my head around, because I know sometimes when there's smoke, there could be fire. Like, how long were we linked to getting OG Anunoby?
Right.
How long Mikal Bridges because of relationship reasons? But yeah, he possibly could be traded, but I don't see why. I don't get why yet.
I think it's fake smoke. It's
like
fake smoke.
It's not necessary.
Fake smoke.
Not yet.
Are you curious at all that Randle hasn't signed an extension? Are you curious at all when you think about all of the moves the Knicks made? OG Anunoby trading for Mikal Bridges. What I think that's all they. That's all they pretty. Oh, signing Brunson to an extension, signing Tibbs to an extension. That when it comes to Randle, no, we gotta wait for whatever the reason is. Do you find that kind of strange?
I don't, and I'll tell you why. Randle, the difference between the Randle situation and the Brunson situation is this: we've seen Brunson perform at an elite level in the playoffs. We haven't seen Julius do that yet. And I think that the Knicks aren't in a hurry, because I'm not sure that they're overly worried about it. I'm not sure there's a lot of teams that are going to be able to sign Randle that are places that he would really want to go. I think Randle is comfortable with not signing the extension right now. But again, this is a prove-it season for him in a lot of ways, because look, if he goes out there and balls out, the Knicks will pay that man. But I don't. You know how the Knicks are. They're very frugal and they're very shrewd about the way that they do things, and so I think that they'll take their time on Julius, because there's not any impetus or hurry. And I think that the other thing is that if you do ink Julius to a big number, that locks you in. You know what I'm saying? It locks you in when you're talking about second aprons and those sorts of things.
Right.
That locks you in finally. And I'm not sure that they're ready. I think that this front office likes their flexibility. That's always one of the things that they've cherished. And so, yes, they want to compete for the championship this year, but they also want to have flexibility to improve the team in years to come also. And so I think that's a consideration as well. And so I think it's more a matter of what is the reason that you have to lock in right now. And I don't think, because there's not anything really to put their feet to the fire on that, I don't necessarily think they're going to do that. Brunson, to me, is the face of the franchise. That's kind of where we've decided to build. So I kind of think that it's a different category. And again, Jalen has carried us to the second round of the playoffs twice, and Julius missed 1.5 of those.
I agree with you, Geoff. But what has OG done? Like they could have easily, gave the money to Randle. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is, what's going on behind the scenes. To me, it's just curious that we're gonna sign Brunson, we're gonna make OG Anunoby the highest paid player in New York Knicks history. But when it comes to Randle, we gotta be.
Well, a couple things on OG. First of all, we paid a big price to bring him here.
Yeah, they kind of was handcuffed. Yeah.
We in other words, it's not good asset management to trade away 2 young players like Quickly and RJ for a guy and then have him play half of a season for you. That's not good asset management. Secondly, OG Anunoby does provide a lot of value on the defensive end, especially along with Mikal Bridges, and they're 2 key cogs, in my opinion, in order to build the championship identity that this team wants to make. You have elite wing scorers in this league, so you need elite wing defenders. And Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are 2 players that do that in spades. And so are we paying a premium for that? Absolutely, yes. But I think that that's very intentional, and I don't think it's meant as a slight to Julius Randle, by the way. And I think Randle's going to be fine. I think Randle's going to have a great season. I'm not saying any of this to disparage Julius Randle. And Julius Randle very well may still get his money. I just don't think that there's any reason. There's not any reason for the Knicks to do that right this minute. And because there's not, they're not going to.
Yeah, I just don't like to me personally, it just doesn't sit well with me. I get it. You know, they come in at it strictly from asset management, strictly from, finances, first apron, second apron, it's, second, salary cap stuff. It just doesn't sit well with me. I feel like Julius Randle, this is, I guess, more of an emotional take. Julius Randle has been there from the beginning. Julius Randle started this, and I feel like he's being treated like a second-class citizen. That's basically what I feel like he's being treated by the front office. We're gonna pay this person, we're gonna extend this person. But when it comes to Randle, we got to tighten it up right here. Brunson getting the captaincy, they could have been co-captains. Randle, not, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not saying he's going to get traded, but I don't really see the front office showering a lot of love on Julius Randle. I don't think, if we're just
Let me
going,
ask you a question.
Wait, hold on. If we're just going by what we're seeing, I don't see the commitment to Julius Randle, and so maybe there may be something to these trade, like not specific trades, but that he's available. Now tomorrow they may turn around and sign him to an extension, and all of this is mute. But I just feel like to me, he doesn't seem like he's getting a love from the front office. But go ahead, Geoff. You was going to ask me a question.
Well, two things. First of all, what you need to remember about Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle is they're not this front office's people.
I was going to
They
say
were
that.
here first. And so I think that's one thing. And secondly, then my question to you is, I'm going to give you the Leon Rose hat for a minute. What contract would you sign Julius Randle to? If I put you in the charge of the Knicks today and you can sign into an extension, you can do whatever you want to do. What contract are you giving him?
I'm signing him to. I'm going to ask him to pick up the option and sign an extension off the option. And I get it that the option is $30 million, and if he went the extension, he would make more in that first year. But you have to also remember, let's just say he does that, and he plays out the 4-year extension, he's not getting 30 million on the other side of that because he's going to be, I don't know how old. So take the 30 million up front, sign the extension, and sign the extension. And over the course of 5 years, the 30-year plus the extension, I think you're going to get more if you signed an extension now, because you're not going to get the 30 on the back end, and they're not signing you to a max anyway. So even if they offered you an extension right now, they're not offering him a max extension. And the reason why, not that he doesn't deserve it, is they got some flexibility, to Jeff's point, with Brunson signing an extension, and they're not going to give that up by signing Randle to a max contract. Right now, they are able to pivot. If things don't work out, the Knicks can pivot and make some and make some changes, right? So you're not going to be like, oh, that's so great. Look at what Brunson did. It's going to help us. We're going to have flexibility, I think, to 2026, 2027, where they're going to go into the second apron, no matter what. It seems like, just to sign Randle to a max and give that up. Now, to be clear, if you sign Randle to a max, you're still under the second apron, but with only 10 players signed. And so once you sign the other 4 players, you're going to go over the second apron. So that's what I would do, Jeff. I would get him to sign the option, encourage him to do that, and sign an extension. If he doesn't
want to do that, though,
if he doesn't want to do that, I would sign him to an extension that doesn't put us over the second apron. So I'm probably doing the same thing the Knicks are the Knicks are doing. Let's sign him to an amount that doesn't put us over the second apron in case we have to pivot. Yeah.
Shrewd and smart can mean, two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, they've been smart with their moves so far.
Yeah. We'll see. I will say this: the relationship they have with CAA, at the very least, like, I don't believe anymore that you're going to get a discount because you're a. Look what happened with OG. Like, the Knicks, they didn't leverage that relationship at all.
Right.
At all. So I'm no longer thinking, we're going to get a discount with Randle because he's CAA. They're going to do what's best for their client. But the least you could do is leverage information and know what's his temperament. Is he somebody that's likely to leave in free agency? We need to know that now. Is he upset? Where is he? That's something with the relationship with CAA you should be able to glean, because we're going to need to know that. Because if you think that everything is hunky-dory and you get the free agency and he leaves, that's I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but that doesn't look good for the front office.
Right. And you would have
that's a mismanagement of assets too.
Say that again, Jeff.
That's a mismanagement of assets also.
Absolutely. To lose Randle for nothing.
Correct.
That
would
is
be
malpractice.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And if he signs that extension, they get 2 years of flexibility. 2026, that the option, and then extends off of that. They get 2 years of flexibility. And they go into the second apron in the 2026-2027 season when both his extension and Mikal Bridges' extension would start. So that's 2 years of having the ability to pivot. Yeah, we'll see. My last question before we get out of here is: Robinson may not be back for the start of the season. And I saw 2 things today. One was an article with Boogie Cousins. Like, but come on now. I mean, like,
but Queen,
we don't even know how he looks. The last time he played and you hear Dwight Howard too, not recently, but like a week or so. Like, these guys haven't played in the NBA and I don't know how long.
At least he's still playing, though. He's not coming off the couch. It's overseas. Don't get me wrong. It's not the NBA.
Right.
him and Dwight are at least still playing. You know what I'm saying? Like their knees is probably crazy right now, but they got the ice on the knees on the bench at least. They're not sitting at home. Sitting at home is nuts. There's no way. There's no way in hell I'm signing anybody just sitting at home.
Well, how many minutes you think they could play?
They're on the NBA 2K. Come on now. Don't sleep on the NBA 2K.
I don't know. Like
10 minutes? 10 minutes a game?
10 seconds.
So Precious Achiuwa going to be our starting center for like the first half of the season?
But I'm saying Boogie Cousins. I don't think Boogie or Dwight Howard could start.
I think Dwight can start.
Wow. Really?
Just because like I don't think he's lost. I mean, obviously he's lost a little bit of his athleticism. He's old. But he would be better than Precious Achiuwa at the 5. That's all I'm saying.
Watch out now, Joe. Watch your mouth.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Your mouth.
You're right. Precious that dude. But just to start at the 5, just for a body, he's not saying that, Dwight gonna come in here and be Mitchell Robinson. I don't think he'd be better than like that. But if the alternative is Precious and Sims, yes, grab one of them just for body and minutes.
Wow.
If that's what you have, like I would like give me a better option, Steph. You the one who gave me Boogie Cousins.
He was the first one. The other one was Robert Williams III, who to me is just as raggedy on the injury front as Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, it's like signing the same player, which is not that bad, I guess. If you got 2 of them, maybe they won't be hurt at the same time.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah,
this is the Knicks. They be hurt at the same time now.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
As a Jets fan, I've been through too many of these maybes. We're not doing that.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, and then the other thing I heard was Isaiah Stewart, who's undersized. I do like the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, he can hit the 3, right? That's the same Isaiah Stewart? No?
No, I don't think.
No, okay. So then that's not the same. That's not the guy. But Isaiah Stewart from Detroit, he's like 6'9". How is he that much different than Precious Achiuwa?
I mean, he's bigger, quote unquote tougher. They call him Beef Stew. Like he's just a big dude. Like he's just gonna log up minutes also. It's not like he's a game changer at the 5, no.
Right.
Just a guy.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. There's some urgency for the Knicks if Mitchell Robinson won't be ready. I don't think he's been cleared. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It may have happened in the past 48 hours. If he's been cleared for, contact and what have you. The last we heard, he wasn't. And that he wouldn't be ready for the first game of the season. So the Knicks may be feeling pressed to do something, but be easy. You know what I mean? Like don't be desperate, with what you're doing.
Queen, you have a super chat. I don't know if you
Okay, yeah, you can read it.
Jack City, grand entrance, already giving us he's
the star of the show.
He's the star of the show. Look, we lost iHeart. We cannot lose Randle. We can't prove Draymond Green take on the Knicks. Our play is
gonna collapse.
Our play is gonna collapse. Look, we are a dynasty. Oh, Jesus Christ! He said we're dynasty in the making. And we got to keep Randle by any means necessary. I agree. We got to keep Randle. I don't know if we're a dynasty in the making though. But definitely shout out to Jack City, man. Thanks for
I get what he's saying though.
All of our guys are just entering their prime.
Yep. Yeah, I get it.
So we might be a dynasty in the making.
I'm not sure this modern NBA is built for dynasties anymore.
Yeah.
I just to be honest with you, I mean, when was the last time we had a repeat champion? It's been 4 or 5 years, hasn't it?
Fair.
So I'm not sure that especially with the salary cap situation the way that it is, or the rules the way that they are, I'm not sure. Like get one, maybe get two, but
No, we're gonna get one. We're gonna
let's get one. Let's get one, and then we can talk about
We're gonna
dynasty.
get this season coming. We're gonna get a chip. We're not gonna be able to re-sign Randle because we won't have enough money.
You can go into the second apron.
Listen, if they win the chip, re-signing Randle guaranteed because he's gonna want to stay, and they're gonna want to pay him.
Yeah, and you can go into the second apron to sign. You know, we'll just be in the second apron, but you can re-sign.
Who cares? You're a championship team. You're supposed to be in the second apron.
Right. And salute Jack City. I appreciate the shout out. Nice guy. I also met him at Legends. Also a Liberty fan. Also showed me how to go to ESPN and follow the game.
I remember that.
Remember we was in Legends? He was like, "No, this
ESPN
is to follow the game during the game and see what's going on."
Yep.
Yeah,
So appreciate you, Jack City.
man. I got a few other ones. D-Cool is 718. Randle ain't going nowhere. I agree with that, and I hope you're right. You know, I hope all that smoke, the Queen talking about smoke, I hope it's just smoke but no fire.
Speaking of Randle, real quick, have y'all seen him lately?
I had
He in shape. Randle looks skinny. He look all skinny in the face and everything. Like you could tell he's been working. Like Randle is a worker.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Yeah,
does he have the dreads or does he not have the dreads?
Nah, he got a little nappy afro. He looked like he
got the buckwheat hair.
Yes, like look, shaggy beard with the patches in it, like he in the lab.
Jerrell, that buckwheat hair, that's an all-star, all-NBA.
Yeah, he got the buckwheat with the patchy beard.
What? With the scruffy stuff going on, man. Yo,
Julius Randle look like
all NBA juju right there, man.
I love it.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. I saw him answering some questions. I forgot what publication it was, but you could tell it looked like he came out of a workout. He just had a t-shirt on and some shorts.
Scruffy beard, all NBA. Shout out to D Cool at 718, man, for always hanging out with it. Nick Yang. Fourth year of trading Randle.
That is true.
That's all true. Stop, please. His agent is the GM. Son, they probably already have an agreement in principle and just waiting. I hope you're right, man. I hope that is the what's going on behind the scenes. All right, McMahon. Why would the Cavs want Randle?
The Mavs.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Why would the Mavs want Randle? Pretty sure they want Gafford but you know what? I highlighted this so I can ask this question. That is a good question. Why would they want Randle? Because they have
Randle wouldn't make sense on that team.
It wouldn't make sense. I agree. It would not.
They need Gafford and PJ for the defense and the rebounding. I mean, that's
not only that, and those are two guys who don't want the ball, who don't really need the ball in their hands. So you already have a ball dominant guard in Luka. So and Randle wouldn't be a good fit with those guys.
Do you think Randle could on that team play the Aaron Gordon role? Because remember who Aaron Gordon was in Orlando. And then he went to Denver, and he was the number 3 guy, basically rebound defensive guy who, in a pinch, can give you offense. Do you think he could be that for Dallas?
No, Randle's just not that guy.
No. I think it's possible if he was older. Like I think Randle is just, superior talent-wise compared to Aaron Gordon. Like Aaron Gordon, it's not like he was going to go anywhere and be the number 1 guy anyway. Like he didn't have a choice but to be the number 3 option on the team because he's done a number 3 option on the team.
And Randle grabs a defensive rebound. He's bringing up the ball. He's not giving up. He's not giving it to Luka, and that's Luka's gonna have a problem with that. Like he just.
If he there, he giving it up to me.
No, he would change. He
would have to
change. I don't think so. I think Randle is who he is at this point.
See, I think Randle respects guys like Luka who have game.
Right.
Like he respects Jalen Brunson, and Luka's on that level at least. So, it's silliness because we're not trading him to the Mavs, but I think that he recognizes game and he would acquiesce to a player of that caliber. I don't have any doubt of that.
Listen, with all that respect he's got for Jalen Brunson, he still bring up the ball.
Yeah, he may bring up the ball, but he's
not may. He's bringing up the ball.
But like that doesn't mean
many times. He tell Brunson, nah, God, I'll hit you when I'm ready.
Much as I love Jalen Brunson, he's not Luka and Kyrie though. Actually,
Right.
like they have Kyrie Irving on their team too.
Right.
Like Luka don't got to bring up the ball either.
I don't see Julius Randle changing at this point in his career.
But I've seen it already though.
Yeah,
He doesn't even handle the ball as much
he definitely changes. But yeah, I don't think we giving him to the Mavs anyway. Just like as we said,
no.
Like I think the people would say that maybe because like the going home factor. They think every player want to go, and every team that had a player from that area wants them. That's how it usually is. He's from Dallas, so.
Right. And you can't give up your number 2 option who could create for yourself and create for others and bring somebody else in here. Brunson got to feed. You know what I mean? I like if you're gonna bring out trade Randall, you got to bring in somebody else that can create for themselves and create for others, unless Mikal Bridges grows into that role.
Right.
Bridges grows into that role, and he can be a number 2. Now you can use Randall if you feel like you want to, and bring in a high level number 3 type guy, or maybe OG becomes your number 3 and you use Randall to bring in some more high level role players. But Mikal would have to establish himself first before you think about doing that.
Yeah.
Right. D Coolest 718. If not for Giannis, stop talking about trading Randall. Yep, showing that, man.
But they didn't sign him, so there's always that risk of losing him for nothing.
Yeah, at a certain point, you're gonna want to trade him if you think you have a risk of. I'm talking about fans. Like much as even if you liked Julius Randle, doesn't matter if you like him or not. Like if you think there's a possibility for him to leave without getting anything for him, you would want him traded.
Right. And maybe they're trying to sign him to an extension and he's balking at. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
They didn't sign quickly to an extension, and they shipped him in December too. So maybe.
But if you ship Randall in December, that changes. I think that changes our championship. I'm not saying we still can't win it, but it changes. It makes it harder.
I think it depends on what we get back.
We still good.
Yeah, it depends on what we get back.
You'd have another half season of information though, also, right?
Yeah, as long as we don't trade
I'm saying
a bunch of picks or something like that. Yeah, that wouldn't help us because we could try to trade him for picks because of all the picks that we lost in the Bridges trade.
Yeah,
I hope we don't do that though.
I don't anticipate. I think if we're trading Randall is to get a significant, I don't know what piece that would be, but I would say it would be for a player at least of similar caliber. I can't see us. I don't see the Randall for 2 role players and a couple of draft picks. I would be surprised if the Knicks made a deal like that. Not saying it's impossible. I would just be surprised if that went down.
The only reason I can see it that way, because I do agree with you, I don't see the trade for the person that's his caliber or better. I don't see that trade at all. Not saying that I would like to see the 2 role player trades like the Gafford and the PJ Washington. I hate that trade too. I don't see. For one, you would have to ask yourself who is on that baseline with Randall in the first place.
Karl Anthony Towns.
But they're going to want more for Karl Anthony Towns than we would want for Julius Randle. So that means we got to give up something else for that. And I don't want to do that. Not Julius Randle and something else for Cat? No. I wouldn't want to do that. But it would have to be something like that. And I don't want that. So
more on Randall. Nick Yak. Randall took a 27-win team and then took young RJ, Burks. Was Burks on that team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alfred
He was
Payton.
playing- he was
Bubble
playing
team?
point. I didn't want him to. Yes, he was
Yeah.
definitely on that team.
Alfred Payton and Nerlens Noel starters to fourth place in playoff and was doubled, if not tripled, every possession. We should never forget that, man. That's why I would love if we win a championship within the next couple of seasons. I really would love for Julius Randle to be part of that.
Hey, we win a chip. I don't care who a part of.
No,
I'm just Julius Randle.
I'm not arguing with that. I don't care how. Just give me that.
No, listen. He came here when nobody else wanted to come here. So
That's
to me,
true.
that's huge.
That's true.
That's
what's
true.
more huge though? A chip, AJ.
That's huge.
Amen.
A chip, man. I
All
just
right.
want it by any means necessary. Damn near.
Where is JaVale McGee?
Wherever he at,
Where he belongs, wherever he at.
Wherever he at, he can stay.
And I guess that's from where we're talking about.
So I would take him over Boogie or Dwight Howard. I gotta be honest. I would. He 36 though.
I'd take him over Boogie, but not over Dwight though. I'd take Dwight over him.
I just
How
don't
old
think
is
Dwight
Dwight?
is the same player that we.
Like Jerrell said, at least Dwight is playing. These
Yeah,
guys,
but
you know
He
what?
better than JaVale McGee though. Even bad Dwight. No,
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
when the
because
last time
he's
he
not
played
the
in the NBA was what 3 years ago.
Queen. Even if we don't know, he's better. He's still better than JaVale McGee.
right now, coming off the couch. I don't know. Yeah, Dwight will be 39 in December.
Come
He's
on.
38 right now.
Come on now. Come on now.
The last time he played was the 21-22 season.
Come on now.
So,
I was
yeah.
in high school.
Oh,
Come on
Yeah.
Must
now.
be getting close to midnight.
He's 39 and the last time he played was 2021, 2022.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's-
man.
that's-
That's
come
tough,
on now.
man.
Dog track time for Mr. Howard.
Yeah, it's time.
Matter of fact, didn't they get rid of Dwight and bring in JaVale McGee? Now that I think about it, didn't he go to the Lakers? I think he
Yeah,
played
I
for the
think he
Lakers.
did.
Oh well.
Yeah, I'm not. And what about Boogie? Boogie's what 40?
No, Boogie's way younger than that. His knees left early.
he
Hold on,
got
let me look at. Let me
his,
see how old he is.
his knees are 55. He might be 35.
Yeah, Boogie is young. He's not that old. Boogie Cousins. Hold on.
DeMarcus.
Yeah, he only 34. And he just turned 34. Like he just seemed old because he was a one and done. So he only went to Kentucky for 1 year. So he's been playing since he was 19. And he's been good since he was 19. So he was relevant that long. So it make it seem like he was in the league for forever. But like he retired, well, not retired, but he stopped being good early because of injuries. Because I thought he was older than that. I didn't think he was 40, but I thought he was closer to 40 than 34. Like he just turned 34.
Right.
So that's not that old. But his knees is definitely 57.
Right. All right. Before we get out.
I got a couple more real quick.
Okay.
DX Relish. Let's go Sixers, man. Shout out to
Shout out to
Right.
DX Relish. He's been working with us for a minute since the series. Nothing but respect.
I guess DX finally recovered from from that game 6.
Amen.
He did stop by after game 6.
He
He
did.
did. He
You
did.
gotta respect. You gotta
DX is
respect. I
legit,
love,
man. Respect to
love
DX.
respect to DX, man. Love that. Yeah. And David Elbaya, love this podcast, and this podcast loves you back.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for rocking with us. Last but
And
not
he be-
least,
and when he doesn't make the show, he's part of the replay gang, leaving his
replay gang.
comments on the video. Appreciate you.
yeah, definitely shout out to DL Buyer. Last but not least, so the reason why shout out to Nick Yak for like really holding back and not talking about Huck Porty all night tonight. He saved it for like last. We know you love Huck Porty, but here it is. Couldn't believe none of you guys give him a chance. I'm sorry, Nick Yak. It's just we just don't see it happen. We just don't see her party get minutes, unless like 2-3 people are hurt.
Yeah, I'll give him a chance when Tibb does first.
Yeah.
And the Knick organization, they signed him to a 2-way contract. They signed Kohler to a standard contract. They showed Huck Porty to a 2-way contract. Now, sometimes you do it because you can get away with it, and it's a way to manage your assets. But sometimes you do it because you don't think the guy's going to be ready.
Right.
We sign him into a 2-way, which gives you the option to convert it to a regular contract. I mean,
He's gonna be killing it in Westchester.
yeah, exactly. Get a season ticket. Become a season ticket holder.
All right. So right now we only 12 likes away from 100, and we still have 100 people. Come on, let's
salute to the chat. That's amazing.
And those who are watching who are not in the chat who hit the like button, appreciate you.
Love it, man. Let's get the next 12 likes so we can hit that 100 mark before we get out of here. All right.
Any last words? Appreciate you, Mega.
Shout out to Mega, always rocking with us. Always.
So good to have Jerrell back in the building, man. It was a better show with you on it, my guy.
Thank you.
I'm glad you had a good summer, but you're back where you belong, just like JaVale McGee is back where he belongs. So.
On the couch. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. I'm glad I'm back, man. Feels good.
Yeah. Feels good to have you back.
Thank you. Oh, Die Hard Giants every Tuesday at 9:00 now. I stopped doing live watch alongs. I figured, it's better for me to watch the game and really analyze it, take a couple days to make up my show or whatever. So Die Hard Giants will be live every Tuesday at 9 instead of, during the game.
Jerrell, come on. We all Giant fancy, no disrespect, Jeff. You want to take a couple of days to heal.
Yes.
Right. That's what
you analyze the show. Come on, stop. You took a couple of heal up and then you do a show.
AJ, it's gonna be a long season.
It's gonna be a very long season. Like
for me, it's basketball season already.
Yeah.
I'm ready for college basketball to start up. Like I'm ready.
Oh
man, the Giants, man, come on. Listen, we're gonna leave it alone. But
95 likes. I'm still waiting for the other 5. Come on
now. Sticking with Daniel Jones too long. That's the mistake for the Giants franchise.
Yeah.
He throw one touchdown pass. The last possession of the season. Oh, we gotta resign him. Like, relax. Okay, he had a good season. Oh, we gotta sign him now. He had a good season. See that pass? Relax.
You see that pass? Look at the spiral. Look at the spiral on that 5-yard out.
I mean, it's the ownership. The ownership loved their players. They loved Odell. They didn't. Well, I don't think they should have. They didn't want Odell traded. They didn't want Saquon traded. They want to give Daniel Jones a lifetime contract.
Moved into
I need to have a Dawn up here and get or the bowling chick. I got to get some green up here with me, man.
I mean, come on. We had 2 opportunities. Me and Jerrell went through it on the show to draft a quarterback. Okay, one of the opportunities came when he was only 3 years into the league, but you saw it. I was like, this is the time to cut bait. I know it's only 3 years. I think it was, what's his name? Oh, man. The name.
The GM coach?
No, the quarterback.
The quarterback we passed on.
He was
multiple. What do you mean?
Jones. I mean, he was only in the league for 3 years, so I get it. And the Giants always want. Let's get up.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert, exactly. Oh, we got a quarterback. Always want to pick up a wide receiver or a lineman instead of a quarterback. Come on.
Herbert's legit too. I like him. He's a good player.
I would have traded.
I'm ready to go to bed.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm not trying to be that. Look, I'm a Jets fan. Y'all got championships. I got none in my lifetime. So yeah, I can't say nothing.
The Giants just make my head hurt now, man.
Okay.
It's gonna be a long season.
Kerry Cox said Giants win in 6 games. That's two
too
more.
much.
That's two more than I think they're gonna win.
Yeah. All right. I got us winning 3.
Yeah, you know who Jones
I got us
reminded me
winning
of?
4. I got us winning.
Who was
4.
that quarterback? Was it Kenny Graham? What was his name? Way back.
Kent.
Was it Kent Graham?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who he reminded me of. Kent Graham, you already know he's another one that want to stay in the pocket. Or skittish, and I'm like, why are the Giants sticking with the Daniel Jones? Same way.
Daniel Jones, he is lost out there. Lost.
We
He
had
has no clue what's coming to
Brown.
him. He has
Dave Brown was another one. All these
Giants we've had 2 Hall of Fame worthy quarterbacks. Well, no, 3. Sorry. Y.A. Tittle. I'm really not old enough to know who he is, but he was definitely good. But yeah, between him, Phil Simms, and Eli, that's like for the whole franchise. Like that's about it. Like we historically bad at quarterback, to be honest.
We got some Jones apologists in the chat. He never had a running game. He never had a offensive line. He never had. You can look at Jones even when he gets the protection.
This is 6th year. It's time to move on. Sorry, I don't care what he got.
Right.
Over.
Well, if they have the season you're talking about, they're gonna be moving on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they'll be.
You're not gonna be the only one, Joe.
No,
You're
you're
not
right
gonna be the
about
only
that.
one moving on. Don't worry. He's not going to be the only one not on the Giants next year. That's another story.
For sure. Anyway, I appreciate you, fam. Jerrell, welcome back. Geoff, Ajay, appreciate you guys. The chat, Jack City, appreciate the super chat. David G, Kerry Cox, Quiet Money, Sherwin, can't get through. Everybody, Web,
Jack City.
BM. What'd you say?
Jack City.
Jack City, Ally Wise, Nick Yak always rocking with us. Appreciate you. Mac Man, Mega in the house.
Knicks 100 at GM.
Yep. Listen, I'm a mental health professional. Knicks 100 at GM. Get you some Prozac. The Knicks are going to be fine. Cleveland is not finishing in the second, and giving us all this smoke. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah,
all right.
We have to be all right.
Right.
Yes, I agree with you.
Right. Until next time, fam. Next week, Philadelphia and Milwaukee roster comparisons. Peace.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't talk.
Where you at?
Don't talk.